Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Ray the Flying Squirrel here, and I am back for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as you probably expect at this point in time. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars for the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom for those of you who lived in Japan, while meanwhile the Nintendo Switch remake should be on its way. So last time we have basically managed able to explore Star Hill. In addition to that, we also managed able to get ourselves our 4th star piece to the table. In addition to that, we also did manage able to check out the forms of Seaside Town, and especially noticeable, we did somehow manage able to explore the sea location, and as a result, that pretty much leads us to the Sunken Ship. So as a result, we actually did manage able to get a lot of sense of progressioning so far. So either way though, there's not much right to home about. So today, for this video, is about the fact that we'll be able to actually continue exploring for the forms of Sunken Ship, because as a result, about the fact no matter what though, I'm pretty sure we're almost at the halfway point in terms of the forms of the Sunken Ship area. Just you really able to realize about the fact that every once in a while that we have to come across into certain puzzles throughout. So as you can see about the fact that, well, one thing I surprisingly forgot to comment on back in the forms of in yesterday's video, because like I said before, that hopefully we'll be back for more of Sonic Frontiers at some point until next Tuesday in particular. So, but either way though, this will be the only time we're able to actually make the actual uploading schedules change every once in a while. So, but either way, let's just go ahead and quickly sort something out quickly, because obviously about the fact that it seems that Mario just almost dies there, and in fact, no matter what though, during the forms of that particular battle familiar, that I somehow accidentally managed to let Mario dies on that battle. So, but thankfully we've got one of those mushrooms in particular, so we can able to actually use that wisely. So speaking of such, here we actually come across into ourselves one of those rooms that you need able to complete them before you're able to progress. Because every time you complete certain puzzles like this one, basically the first room is very simple. You need to guide the paratrooper right, or should I say sky trooper, right where the actual cannonball is, and then you realize about the fact that once you're able to guide Sky Trooper onto the forms of that particular cannonball, that will pretty much activate the switch, which not only reveals the mushroom, which actually just gives us full restored HP, as well as flower points, exponentially speaking. In addition to that, we get ourselves the actual scroll, which actually signifies one of those letters that you have to able to actually access to the code before you progress to the game. So, but either way though, the next room is kind of tricky, because obviously as you can tell, we need to able to stop those specific springs into a corresponding placement, and because of that, if you do that, the cannonball will appear, and obviously you have to let the cannonball just touch the switch, which pretty much does the same thing, except the fact that you might get yourselves a different item to the table, or should I say you get yourselves a different item to its disposal. So anyway though, a few things I want to explain for this point today, and that it appears to be about the fact that today's date, of course, is the 28th of July today, in this case in 2023 today. Only 4 more days to go until we basically moved on to August. So I kind of believe about the fact that the time itself is go, you know, wowzers, for the sake of the forms of the actual time itself. Especially noticeable, it's a good thing I managed able to keep on playing Super Mario RPG for time to time, just before the Switch remake is about to be approaching. So, but either way though, that'll be a topic for a later time. So, but either way, and success. So as a result, we get ourselves not only the next scroll, but also we get ourselves a flower point as well. So that should be pretty swell. Now, the next room I'm about to be entering right now, this one appears to be pretty tricky, and this one appears to be by the forms of, this is a 3D maze, or should I say the 3-dimensional maze. So basically it's about the fact you need to navigate for this particular maze, while at the same time you need to make your way to the switch, and most of the time though, it can take a while to able to navigate for this entire 3-dimensional maze, because it can be quite confusing at times. So it might take you about a couple of hours to able to actually navigate for this particular room. So, but regardless of such though, if you know exactly what to do, then you might be okay. But I really hope about the fact that in the Switch remake, might able to actually get ourselves a different camera perspective, you know, similar to the forms of how it does it for Super Mario 3D Land, although I highly doubt it. Although, I'm sure we'll find out during at some point once the actual Switch remake is about to be releasing. So, Anyway, though, as you probably already know about the fact that Disney's Illusion Island just somehow came out today for the Nintendo Switch, so I'm not exactly sure what the review scores is going to be like, but I'm sure that we'll let Silver be able to talk more details about that during at some point on Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, so you can able to actually tackle through Super Monkey Ball 2 challenge mode stages. So, anyways, we got another scroll, so that way we get ourselves one of the clues. And in addition to that, we also get ourselves a nice little item. So even then, that way we should now able to leave this room because I'm pretty sure we're done here. So yeah, not only do we have to do it on the top section, but also in the bottom section as well. So just in Class of 5, we're able to realize about the fact that sometimes you have to tackle through every single rooms until you're able to get a lot of progressioning. So yeah, that might be the actual reason for it. So anyway, let's talk about the forms of the enemy encounters that we somehow forgot to mention about, because we somehow got distracted by the forms of certain news articles recently from the likes of Sonic Superstars, from the likes of yesterday, of how the Chaos Emerald powers plays out to be before the actual game comes out. So, for instance, about the fact that I think there was actually an enemy during the forms of the actual sea location that we did somehow already stumble across into ourselves. Well, I'll explain more details about that at some point in the future, because either way though, certain enemies, as far as I'm aware, we did already come across into, which there are, Grieper, which are essentially it's like a ghostly version of one of those Shy Guys or something. So yeah, basically with the forms of Grieper, managed able to got themselves 148 HP, and they drop about none of those coins, and they somehow managed to able to get 13 experience points if you kill them. So yeah, and in addition to that, there's also the enemy called Straw Head, which is basically slightly a stronger variation of one of those enemies that we've already come across into ever since during the forms have been, you know what I'm saying, with Kuro Sewers. So yeah, basically for the likes of Straw Head, they do have 131 HP, and they drop about 12 coins, and if you kill them, you get about 17 experience points, if I'm assuming so anyway. And in addition to that, there's also the Dry Bones, as we've already come across into in yesterday's video, mind you, despite the fact that I got distracted by the forms of news, conversations, or anything else like that. So yeah, for Dry Bones wise, they do have 0 HP for some reason, but they functionally infinite. But there's a catch to this though. If you manage able to utilize the Thunderbolt special move with Mallow specifically, basically that'll finish the actual Dry Bones off, and then once you've done so already, they basically drop 5 coins and you get 12 experience points for doing so, assuming of course depending if you trying to able to be focusing on trying to battling a lot of enemies or something like that. But either way though, it's been a very long while since I actually just managed able to looked upon something for that matter, ever since in a couple of hours ago. So but either way, it looks like Mario's almost dying again, so hopefully we'll try to able to get rid of this enemy right here, which as you can tell, this enemy's name was Reacher. So because of the defaults of this extendable arms attack that he's been pulling off from. But either way though, as far as I'm aware, for the likes of Reacher, it does have 184 HP, and if you kill them, basically you get 8 coins, and you get yourselves about 30 experience points if you kill them. So, but basically though, it's about the fact that it's kind of a nuisance whenever you try to go to the next room. Basically though, it's about the fact that you have to force able to go into an enemy encounter, assuming of course about the fact that if you strong enough, then you weren't able to actually deal with them from there. So anywho though, something's worth noting for as well, and that's what appears to be about the fact that there is that enemy that we somehow forgot to mention about, and that's what appears to be body forms of Krusty. So basically though, for Krusty, he was obviously going to be located in the actual sea location, and he does have 80 HP, and they drop about 7 coins, and if you kill them, you get about 25 experience points, if I was assuming so anyway, because again, my numbers wasn't exactly all that accurate. So yeah, I will admit though right away though, sometimes I'm not exactly great on getting some accuracy with all that status quo. So, but anyway, let's talk about the forms of another topic at this point, and that will have to be by the forms of, well, someone said in the actual, the post community tab, that was in the forms of that was on Monday, if I'm assuming so anyway, on the 24th of July anyway. Basically, he did say one of these questions by the name of the forms of Sunken Ship. Basically, though, is about the fact he questioned us which of these tracks that made their debut in the Booster Course Pass is your favorite, and it's somewhat between Sky High Sunday, Yoshi's Island, or Squeaky Clean Sprint. And it seems about the fact that a lot of people voted for Yoshi's Island, which I honestly agree, especially noticeable because Yoshi's Island is a really cool racetrack. Although I will admit though right away though, with Squeaky Clean Sprint is also a good one as well. But a lot of people don't usually like about the forms of Sky High Sunday because it's just all about an oval-shaped track and there's nothing else to it. So, but either way though, I can possibly understand it because it's especially noticeable about that particular point where I just wish there was more variety when it comes to the forms of Sky High Sunday as far as that track is concerned. But either way though, beggars sales can't be choosers, I guess. So, anywho though, as far as I'm aware, also about the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's the movie did somehow manage to get ourselves a rating board, and as a result, it's confirmed to be PG-13, at least specifically in the Americans' rating board. Like, for instance, it will able to include strong violent content and bloody images, so, and as well as language as well. So, I get it because it falls in the horror aspect, so because of that though, it makes sense to me. Because obviously about the fact that with Five Nights at Freddy's, it's obviously is almost inspired by Halloween kind of vibes to it, so... Oh, and another thing too about the fact that there's a game called Fashion Dreamer that is expecting about the fact that they've somehow confirmed the release date for the game, which I'm pretty sure that particular Fashion Dreamer was already been addressed ever since during the forms of in the February Nintendo Direct, if I recall correctly, and basically it's about the fact that they did confirm the release date for it, and they did say it's going to be releasing roughly about the exactly same day as WarioWare Move It, which appears to be on the 3rd of November. But honestly, I think I'm mostly excited for WarioWare Move It over the likes of Fashion Dreamer to me, because I'm not exactly one of those types when it comes to preferring like fashionable gamers and stuff like that. Well, I'm biased, I guess, especially noticeable because I'm still pretty much gonna have to save up for not only for the likes of the forms of, you know, WarioWare Move It, but also with the forms of, you know, Super Mario RPG Remake, so... And this particular room right there might be felt a bit familiar to you, because it's almost inspired by Super Mario World, where basically you have to collect a certain amount of coins before they disappear. So, but either way though, you have to go in a chronological order, by the way, because you can't catch that particular moving coin, because if you accidentally touch the moving coin, you have to try again. So because of that though, sometimes it takes a bit of time to able to deal with a lot of trial and error, especially noticeable with all that isometric platforming that you have to deal with. So because of that, sometimes it takes a bit while. So, anywho though, so yeah, I guess that's that. And I suppose there's another thing I should probably explain about this as well, and that's what appears to be about the fact that ever since in yesterday, I suppose I forgot to mention about this. That's what appears to be about the fact that, oh, we actually got ourselves some more coins. In addition to that, another note, so we can definitely figure out what the clue is. So, but either way though, we should probably continue on to the forms of room number 5. And this one, we do need able to do a lot of timing aspects for that particular block. And basically, you have to able to keep on jumping onto that particular cannonball right there. Not only does it reveal a basic mushroom, so what's the point of able to bring down in the first place, but also we got ourselves another scroll. So either way, I believe we've only got one scroll left until we can able to actually access the actual code. So, but either way though, hopefully we should probably be able to come across to that exponentially, so... Anyway, in terms of the forms of yesterday though, that I suppose I forgot to mention about, and that's what appears to be about the fact that recently, that the Nintendo Switch Online membership services has been confirmed, the not only one, but 2 Zelda games has recently came out for the sake of the forms of the Game Boy Nintendo Switch Online subscription service, which I'll explain more details on that in a later time throughout the video. But basically though, as you can see, we actually come across into 2 switches. But as you can see, we need to knock down this barrel first, because something tells me about the fact that we can't activate both of those switches for ourselves. So basically we need to guide the barrel onto one switch, and for us, we can able to activate another switch, so not only reveals yet another mushroom, but also the forms of the last scroll, so just to ensure about the fact that we can able to actually access the password before you're able to progress. So, seems so far not doing too shabby, especially noticeable we're now on to level 12, so it looks like we're actually getting there. So either way, let's go and switch over to our party members into Mallow to Toadstool right here, or Princess Toadstool to be more specifically, and I think that should be good to go, because obviously we might as well able to come across into yet another boss fight coming up, and something tells me about the special attack for Peach, or Princess Toadstool to be more specifically, will surely be coming handy, especially noticeable that if you come across into harder boss fights, then obviously Peach will be white mage as far as this is concerned when it comes to like healing stuff. So because of that though, that will be you know, pretty handy as far as I mentioned this before. So either way, yeah, again, sometimes I just loved able to keep on changing the forms of certain types of gears for any character, like Leo so if they somehow equip. But then again though, you can't switch over to, you can't switch Mario over, because obviously he's the leader, so it's very similar to, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle as far as, you know, can't switch the forms of Mario's restrictions. So, anyways, let's go and insert the password, and something tells me about the fact that we need to put up not only P, but also E, A, and also, I would say R. Oh, maybe I just timed it wrong. And maybe L. And then maybe S. And if you talk to this little thing right there, that way you should be able to actually access to it. Which means you have to type in pearls. Get it? Because about the fact that we ended up on this particular sunken ship, and something tells me about the fact that it's almost inspired by pirates or sea-based. So, yeah, I guess that makes a little bit more sense, kind of thinking about it. So anyways, here's the forms of the next boss fight. Even though at the moment right now, we can only deal with these tentacles, as you can tell. So basically, it's about the fact that we have to take down not only one, but 3 tentacles on few faces. So for instance, about the fact that I believe for those tentacles, they do have about, I don't know about you, but I think they do have like, well, mind you, I haven't exactly got the exact number accuracy of how much HP they've got. But it still really gets to the point until later on that we'll get into the forms of the proper boss fight. So I highly recommend you're able to take down one of those tentacles at a time. Although despite the fact that they do have higher defense, for the sake of the forms of Peach, Glove Slap. So, but either way though, something tells me we'll go ahead and use the Super Flame right onto the actual tentacles, because I think that might actually deal some bit of damage here and there. So, anywho, yeah, let's talk about the forms of not only 1, but 2 games that's been revealed for the likes of the forms of the Game Boy selection of the likes of the Nintendo Switch online subscription services, and they're both related to Zelda stuff, and as a result, we're able to actually get ourselves not only The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages, but also Oracle of Seasons as well. So meaning about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, it seems kind of odd about the fact that it doesn't seem able to bring out the Game Boy Pokemon games so far for the actual NSO expansion pack or anything else like that, or perhaps even maybe because about the fact there are certain complications of, I don't know about you, but either way, that's the first phase done, and now we move on to the second phase, where I really love the actual dynamic where certain characters are actually on slightly further ahead, and then one of the characters has to stay back a little. So even though despite the fact that when it comes to like not only both Princess Toadstool, but I think something tells me with Bowser was obviously going to be on the fear state. So either way, yeah, we do need to try to focus on trying to take care of the forms of those tentacles as quickly as possibly can. So either way, and yeah, as far as I'm aware about the fact that it looks like about the fact that when it comes to Nintendo Switch in mind, that this is another one of those ultimate machine when it comes to the forms of playing Zelda games, because after all, that we already got ourselves about roughly about I would say quite a lot of Zelda stuff on the Nintendo Switch so far. Probably a lot from the likes of the forms of brand new games, or some ports and some remakes, but ultimately speaking though, that might be somewhat all of the above, I guess. So, But even then though, that shame there's no luck of the forms of Mario Party 3 just yet though, but my speculation for that, it will probably have to be maybe at some point during the Christmas time, likely also on November at some form or another, but then again, we shall see what happens in due time, especially concerning about the particular point where I believe they've almost done with the forms of the N64 lineup, which I will admit though right away, I was a little bit disappointed about the fact that they still have not mentioned about maybe new games will be added, or maybe they're trying to save that conversation up, maybe at some point once we get to the final general Nintendo Direct for 2023, until of course likely 2 months time, or 3 months time depending on the forms of certain stimulations, so... Anyways, let's try to go ahead and deal with this last tentacle, which we've already done. And then once you're done with that, then you can pretty much guarantee what's going to be coming up next. And believe it or not, we actually come across into a boss fight proper. So in some cases we have King Kamari. So basically it's about the fact that it's like a giant blooper or something. So basically King Kamari does have 800 HP, and if you do kill him, you get about 100 coins if I recall, and you get about 100 experience points if you do kill them, so, or kill him as far as what I meant to say. And every once in a while, he also sends out the forms of his tentacles on his own, but I believe something tells me with these tentacles in mind, I would say about the fact that they do have, like, some of them, like, 200-ish HP, although, as you can tell, that Bowser was on poison state, so because of this, though, yeah, it looks like we're about to get a lot of damage for Bowser, because obviously he was on poison effect, so I would have liked able to try to use one of my, trying to able to heal myself, or perhaps even maybe I was trying to use one of the items to get rid of those effects, but I think we should probably save it for a little while, especially because every once in a while, that, as I said before, this is where the battles gets a little bit more tough and difficult at some form or another, so, but that's saying something, so, anyway, something's worth noting for as well, and that's what appears to be about the fact that there was actually, out of nowhere, that we're about to be getting ourselves Lego Eggman as a playable character in Sonic Forces Speed Battle, which I was like, oh my lord, are you serious? So I'm guessing we're about to be able to have ourselves not only one, but 2 Eggmans on screen. Well, specifically not only for the character selection screen, but also with their different formation of themselves. So because of that, gee, I wonder why that Lego Eggman wants to become a lot popular or something like that. Well, mind you, about the fact that we've only got about also 4 days time until when not only the next set of the Lego Super Mario sets will be releasing with the likes of Donkey Kong and all that, but also about the fact that with Lego Sonic the Hedgehog sets will also be releasing during that time as well. So, but either way though, yeah, that must have been, you know, pretty exciting, all things considered. Especially that most people find playable Lego Eggman kind of bizarre for the likes of the forms of Sonic Forces Speed Battle, despite the fact that I just still basically give up on that game because of the forms of the actual, like, you know, online experience only. In addition to that, though, that I'm almost gonna get butt kicked by a lot of players online, so... oh well, no big deal. I suppose we should probably go ahead and use the regular masher, I guess, to deal some bit of damage, so... sometimes it can take a while to able to actually beat him down, though. But either way, though, I'm sure we'll got this, especially thanks to Princess Toadstool's, you know, healing special attack. So that must have been said something. Or a group hug, for that matter. So even though that's what the actual special attack was. So, and also I just realized about the fact that Princess Toadstool can now learn the sleepy time. So because of that, though, I will show this off in a later time. But for now, we somehow deal with the forms of King Kamari. So either way, now we're on to the second half in terms of the forms of the Sunken Ship. So because of this, though, if you think this particular place is done, well, there's going to be more to it. So even then, now I'm pretty sure we're actually getting very close to the point that we might able to actually get ourselves the 5th star piece. So yeah, that should be exciting. So either way, yeah, we need to able to try to avoid those bullet bills, because I think if you dare get hit by the falls of those bullet bills, I believe you get knocked out, or potentially get knocked back, basically. So, but either way, and as you can tell, we actually stumbled across into yet another enemies, as you can tell. This one appears to be by the forms of Gorgon. I think that's what it says anyway. Basically, Gorgons do able to have 140 HP, and they drop about no points, okay? And on top of that, if you manage to kill them, I believe you get about 20 experience points, if I was assuming so anyway, so... Oh jeez, I forgot about that Blizzard Sword attack. Like, sometimes I will admit though, that attack is very unpredictable to block. Although, thankfully on the Switch remake, does give you a notification saying that you can't block that attack. So, either way though, because of the forms of that particular large groups or something. But either way though, I will admit though right away, they do have higher defense or something. So, once again, Blizzard Sword, I get it, because they somehow formation themselves as question mark. They're able to do random sort of effects, so... And I just get a horrible feeling that Mario is almost going to be dying. Oh! I forgot about these rat-like enemies. Those rat enemies are called Alley Rat. So basically they do have 105 HP, and they drop about 3 coins if you kill them, and I believe you get about 9 experience points if you do manage to finish them off. So, yeah, I think that's as far as I can usually quote for that, especially noticeable about the fact that particular point where... Honestly, that's what I can really say about this. And I'm pretty sure about the fact that... Oh wait, there's actually more to it than that. Because obviously about the fact that we're not exactly done with certain enemy encounters for the sake of the forms of Sunken Ship yet. But I'm sure enough though, we will be able to... Ah, drat. I have no idea why I say that for unknown reasons. But still, we must able to get rid of these enemies as much as possible, so... Anyway, yeah, let's talk about the forms of another topic at this point. And unfortunately, though, 2 of those things are, well, one of those games has been cancelled, and one of the singers passed away as well. So because of this, yeah, let's talk about the forms of one of those games has been cancelled, and that's what appears to be a sequel to the forms of Immortals Phoenix Rising. Somehow the sequel for that game is officially cancelled. So because of that though, I have no words able to actually realize that particular game has been cancelled. And relatively speaking though, one of the singers in particular, called Sinead O'Connor, unfortunately though, she passed away recently. Like, she's roughly 56 years old. So, but either way though, yeah, I felt incredibly so sorry for able to actually hear this, especially noticeable about the fact that particular point where, well, she's a great singer. So, but either way, yeah, that's what I agree to say about it. Oh, and another thing too, about the fact that I believe something tells me during at some point until next year, when it comes to forms of anniversary-related characters based off of the Sonic universe, it looks like about the fact that not only for Knuckles the Echidna, but also Fang the Sniper, or every now and then, Fang the Hunter, both of those characters were able to celebrate their 30th anniversary until next year, for the sake of the forms of one of those, I don't know, comic books or something like that. It could be the reason for it, I guess, but either way though, that'll be a discussion for a later time, until when it gets to the point until we make our way to 2024, so but either way though, that must have been said something, and it's also kind of exciting as well, so but either way, yeah, I guess that's what I can say about it. Oh yeah, something's worth noting for is that whenever I looked at the actual screenshots of the forms of this upcoming Trolls video game called Trolls Remix Rescue, it does kind of feels a bit similar to the forms of how it does in one of those games called Sackboy A Big Adventure, because as a result, it feels very similar for that regard, except much more colorful vibes. So because of that though, yeah, I'm a little bit mixed on it, especially noticeable because concerning about that particular point where the 3rd film is going to be on its way for the Trolls movie called Trolls Band Together, because obviously about the fact that despite it's not one of my interests, although the previous one we've got, which appears to be World Tour, which is essentially focuses on the actual rock and all that stuff, In addition to that, that particular film was released during the actual pandemic year. So either way, despite the fact that the actual box office has been not as high as anyone else hoped, because obviously with the pandemic in mind. So anyway, and as you can see, we actually stumbled across into ourselves our doppelganger of ourselves, and basically we need to activate that particular block that has been well hidden, by the way, and relatively speaking, we need to be able to jump onto our clone of ourselves to be able to get another one of those items in the actual chest above. So, but unfortunately though, I seemed able to already got the actual things stocked up for our item selection. So, but either way, I think we'll get rid of one of our mid mushrooms from now on, so I might be alright with this. So, well, as for this matter though, I think something tells me at the back of that particular wall right there, I believe there's going to be a frog coin in here. But here's the thing, that I'm also able to actually activate the dry bones for that matter. So yeah, let me quickly switch over to Mellow quickly, so just in case, since that we're going to be doing with dry bones, that way he can able to finish off dry bones by simply utilizing the forms of the Thunderbolt. So, and it looks like unfortunately Mellow was actually on fear state, so that might be alright for me anyway. So let's just go ahead and keep on tossing Wreck-It and Mario at, for whatever reason, I accidentally choose the wrong target, which as a result that, again, if you deal with the amount of physical attacks to dry bones, it doesn't do anything. So, anyways, let's go ahead and finish off those dry bones by using Thunderbolt right here. Oh boy, something tells me something bad is about to happen. Because I'm pretty sure about the fact that, well, I'm pretty sure Bowser was on Sleepy Statement. And I get a horrible feeling Mario's gonna die here. Or maybe not. Or maybe potentially that... that blizzard is gonna screw me up. Bowser dies. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, let me just get rid of those, Creeper right there, I suppose. Now I suppose we're also able to use Thunderbolt and hope for the best. Oh, nice. Oh, jeez, that deals us so much damage. Oh, thank God he's dead. Oh, that was a close one, because if I let Mario die on that particular fight, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get pushed back for a multitude of rooms, and especially noticeable where the save point was, if I was assuming so. I mean, that could have been worse. And speaking of such though, we come across into the ambush, so yeah, I have no choice but to run away for this particular part of the battle, because otherwise, I just really need to be able to get to the safe room, and as a result, that exponentially will also heal ourselves up. So, there we go. I could have been able to try to utilize the actual Colo for that matter, but I couldn't care less. So, either way, let's save our game here. Now, before we continue, there was actually that particular enemy treasure that we've already come across into since in Cairo sewers. But let me bring out Princess Toadstool back, and we'll go ahead and use Gino for a little while. So just to ensure about the fact that we can able to keep on healing ourselves for the next enemy encounter. So in some cases we have the green treasure chest enemy type, and as a result it does have his name, by the way, and his name was Hidon. So basically Hidon does have 600 HP, and if you do kill him you get about 100 coins, and if you kill him you get about 50 experience points, which is quite a lot so far, for the sake of the forms of certain enemy encounters as far as we're able to deal with. But every once in a while he starts able to realize that, well, his damage output is way too high, and he also brings out Micro Goombas here and there. So I believe with Micro Goombas, as far as I'm aware, I believe each they have 100 HP or something like that. Mind you, I haven't exactly paid attention to the forms of certain things itself. Oh, what I meant to say is that those enemies are known as Goomba Bats or Goombats. So yeah, they do have 100 HP, but they don't drop coins and they don't give you experience points for doing so. So even then, at the very least though, luckily about the fact that we did somehow finish off Hidon, thanks to the forms of the actual super jump ability for Mario, so that should be pretty swell. And something tells me Gino just almost gonna die right here. And that was actually awfully close. Although, to be fair, that with Gourmet, they somehow managed to get strong defense. So, yeah, we definitely need to take them down as much as possible. And, yeah, let's go ahead and utilize Sleepy Time here. And once again, we have to rotate the control pad, similar to the forms of how it does it for that particular special move for... Oh, I did not notice with that particular capture card glitch right there. I need to try to fix that at some point, so either way though, I apologize for that particular weird graphical glitch from my capture card, so I do apologize for that. So, and how do I somehow miss that? And looks like Gino dies. Yeah, we definitely need to finish those guys off before anything else goes all horribly wrong. Oh, he's not dead yet. Oh, jeez. Here we go again. Alright, come on. Oh, jeez. No matter what, though, we use the jump. Oh, come on! Oh, that's not good. Oh, thank the Lord, that was over. Jeez, that was a very, very close call for that matter. I mean, it is a bit inconsistent with that particular damage output for certain enemies every once in a while. But regardless of such though, we did somehow kick their butts. So, anyway, at least that's over and done with. And from here we get ourselves a safety badge, which it'll be pretty helpful. Although, there is that one in particular accessory that we can probably get that it will certainly come in handy. So either way, I suppose I might as well equip that for later. So anyway, let's go ahead and save our game quickly. So as far as I've noticed that Bowser is now on, I would say level 12 or something. Mind you, I didn't pay attention to the forms of that particular number as far as whatever I did somehow manage to level up. So anyway, I guess that's that part done. So, I think, if I recall correctly, despite the fact that, as you can tell, we've now basically maxed out our coins count. So, in some cases, though, you can only hold up to 999 coins, presumably. So, either way, though, yeah, let's just go ahead and use the actual, that item right there, KO Coke, right there. So, just in case we can able to not only restore our health entirely, but also about the fact that we can able to restore our flower points as well. So, yeah, that's what I can really say about it. It feels like that most any other characters are actually getting very close to able to level themselves up. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So, anyway, I suppose the last thing I want to talk about, in terms of the forms of today's discussion, as far as I'm aware, I think, relatively speaking now, about the fact that it looks like that one of those Chuck E. Cheese locations somehow got shut down. And during the forms have been, well, let's just say during the forms of Linwood, if I'm assuming so. So yeah, it's kind of sad able to see that particular location of Chuck E. Cheese has been aired down for the likes of Linwood. So yeah, it seems kind of upsetting. Oh, and also I just realized something about the fact that particular point where we found out that the forms of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, as far as box office as far as I'm aware, it did somehow receive a box office bomb recently. And because of that though, despite the fact that it's actually going pretty okay for reviews alike, but unfortunately for box office though, it got horribly bombed. Although, apart from the fact no matter what though, about the fact that it becomes a box office bomb, mainly due to the forms of the lack of the wide appeal for moviegoers, and also not to mention though, it was actually the expensive overall budget. So because of that though, yeah, it seems kind of bad as far as, you know, box office bombs as far as this is concerned, which that'll belong to the same lines as the forms of how it does it for one of those DreamWorks movies recently, which involves around, you know, krakens and mermaids. You probably named it up the actual thing itself already. So, Oh, and another thing too about the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 has recently confirmed a DVD/Blu-ray release. So as a result, it's going to be releasing at some point on the 2nd of October, just around 18 days before Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So something worth classifying for noticing this from the start. So jeez, it looks like we keep on getting defense up for Geno, which I suppose that's a good thing. Especially noticeable because obviously we do definitely need defense up, so just in case we don't able to let one of our party members die in the process. So, unless assuming of course if we try to keep on wasting ourselves the, you know, pick-me-up items and all that stuff, so... Oh, so close able to finish off those Mr. Keepers right here. Jeez, once again, another defense up for Geno. But, yeah, that's as far as I can talk about this particular conversation for this point, guys. Although, again, I would have liked able to explain something else, but, it's just what I can really say about this. So, next, potentially, we're actually getting very close towards the end of the Sunken Ship. Because as far as I'm aware, during the later sections to come, then obviously about the fact that we can pretty much guarantee we can able to actually wrap things up everything, so... Oh yeah, there's that particular enemy I was being on about, and as a result, I think I already managed able to bring this out already, despite the fact that we haven't exactly come across into it throughout. So, but either way though, yeah, yeah, again, apologize for my commentating, it's a little bit confusing at points, but that's just because it's been about quite a few hours since I've last played this, especially noticeable just trying to get ourselves ready for the likes of the films of, you know, next month in particular. But there's one little bad news to tell you about this, and that's what appears to be about the fact that, unfortunately though for me, as well as the falls of Bubbles, Blossom, and especially noticeable for Mighty in general, unfortunately we can't go for a holiday for next month, probably because about the fact that due to the forms of some complications, for the sake of the forms of not only for its, saving up for cash for something, but also about the fact that unfortunately though, the swimming pool itself has been decolored. So because of that though, yeah, we have no idea what to explain about this. But at least on the upside is though, during at some point until on September, then I'm also able to bring this out right away, is that during at some point in the mid portion of September, there might be some of these uploading schedule break. So because of that though, we'll discuss more details about that particular topic once we get to September. So that'll be roughly the exactly same month as when the physical version of not only for Pikmin 1, but also for Pikmin 2 on the Switch as well. So but either way though, as in a double pack anyway, so... And it looks like we've now reached to level 12 for Geno, so everything else should be pretty swell. And it looks like at this point in time, we've almost going to be reached for about 100 plus HP. So because of this though, things should look a bit more relative at that point, especially noticeable that we do definitely need to get a lot of, you know, HP every once in a while. Because again, with certain bosses to encounter and all that stuff. So yeah, you probably get the gist of it, so... Oh, and another thing too, about the fact, no matter what though, about the fact that, well, relatively speaking though, that's as far as I can talk about. I mean, I would have liked able to explain something else, but... Then again, I've got no words to say. Although, there's one thing I would say is about the fact that I can't even believe it's been about 1 year ago since when Kirby Stream Buffet has been announced during the forms of in last summer as far as I'm concerned. Although despite the fact that it comes out of nowhere due to the forms of Twitter drop back in the day. So either way though, I don't think I can probably able to say about the fact I don't think we can probably come across into Twitter drops for a little while, especially concerning about that particular point where, as I mentioned before, leaks and rumors starts to pop up every once in a while, and even then though, sometimes I just attempt to ignore those leaks and rumors these days, especially, well, it's interesting to look back on the past few years or so, to able to actually see some controversial parts here and there for that particular game's title where it was originally attempted to. But either way though, that'll be a discussion for a later time, especially noticeable because concerning about that particular point where, you know what I'm saying. So even then, it looks like we've now reached to level 13 for Mario, so that should be pretty cool, all things considered. So, because again, it's important to level up, because otherwise, if you under-leveled, then you're obviously gonna get wrecked. So, although aside from the fact that we might come across into yet another Starman at some point in the future, we're able to actually get ourselves a quicker access to level ups entirely. So, now as far as I'm aware, during at some point until next week, there might be some other changes that we can able to do, but I suppose we'll let Silver able to talk more details about that until when he goes back onto Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania. So, anyway, with that being said though, I think we should probably end things off at this point right here, so join me next time for more of Let's Play of Super Mario RPG, The Legend of the Seven Stars, and that's what appears to be about the fact that we can exponentially wrap things up everything in turns the forms of the Sunken Ship, and exponentially we'll get ourselves the 5th star piece. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Later, fellas.